Black dance artists have not been quiet since. Black dance artists have been doing the work. Black dance artists continue to make work. To stay involved, we hold these weekly impromptu discussions and tell stories. Black dance stories. This is one action, and as we promise, we will stay involved. We are a community working together to support, uphold, highlight, celebrate Black creatives. Tonight is our 25th episode of what we hope will be many stories told in the artist's own voices. Tonight, it's Bill T. Jones and Darrell Grand Moultrie's turn. Yay! Please meet some of our BDS team, and I will go first. I am Charmaine Warren. I am a Jamaican. I am the great-granddaughter of Ida Boyd, granddaughter of Solomon Goldson and Ruby Chapman, and one of 9 children by Theophilus Warren and my 94-year-old mother, Pearline Warren, who is alive in Jamaica. Wait, she's going to be 95. I am a non-disabled Black woman. With the utmost respect to the Native people, I acknowledge that I live on the stolen land of the indigenous Lenape people, now known as Montclair, New Jersey, with my husband, photographer and graphic artist to BDS, Tony Turner. Our daughter, Ashe Turner, a Black ballerina with locks, is in her junior year at Boston Conservatory. I have locks that fall to my shoulders. I'm wearing a pinstripe collared blouse and large orange and red earrings. Behind me are photos of our family, a large plant, a lamp, and African masks. Happy Black Dance Stories Thursdays to our old and new friends. We can't wait to see you all in the chat. And another special welcome and thanks to the artists, friends, community activators, and so on and off camera, who make this happen every week. I am humbled. I turn it over to Kimani now.
Thank you, Charmaine. Good evening, everyone. Number 25. Yes, we keep it coming. So welcome, y'all. And you know, I keep saying in the words of D. Sabella Grimes' mama, Gloria Grimes, delicious, delightful dancing night. Yes, especially tonight. The importance of acknowledging our familial and dance legacies is an essential tradition. With deep respect and honor, I want to acknowledge the Lenni Lenape people whose stolen land I am zooming from, currently known as the village of Harlem. I am a Black, non-disabled woman, and I live with my now he's 10-year-old son. I am sitting in my dining room. I have a golden low-cut hairstyle. I'm wearing black long sleeve shirt with a sea blue green top underneath and large silver hoop earrings. I am the granddaughter of Lucille Madison, English professor. I teach because of her, daughter of Ronald Augustus Fowlin, Jamaican warrior and gourmet chef, and Anne Fowlin, rebel and Renaissance woman. I dance because of them. My son Tamayo keeps me present, and I am in awe of him, a blossoming young visual artist. And with that, I turn it over to Makeda.
Hi, everyone. My name is Makeda. My full name is Makeda Lily Nwabunkosi Magirose Roni. I am a non-disabled Black Indigenous woman. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I also identify with they in acknowledgement of my spirit team that is always around me, and that is also me. I am the daughter of Nia Love, dancer, choreographer, amazing artist, and Antoine Roney, amazing musician, granddaughter of Juanita Arlene Love and Edward Love maternally, and Wallace Garnett Roney Jr. and Roberta Majette paternally. I am a 4th generation artist and a 5th plus generation energy intuitive from the beautiful Love Roney family line. I currently live on, and I acknowledge that I live on stolen Lenape land from the Lenape people, which is now known as Harlem, New York. I was also raised here. I am, what else? I am a dancer. I am an energetic sovereignty practitioner, a life, body, and soul alchemist, whatever my soul is called to channel and express love, light, and truth. I'm sitting here in my loft room. Behind me, I have plants. I'm on my little love seat couch. I'm wearing a blue blouse. My hair is back into a ponytail. And I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you, Makeda.
Passing it on to Mama Charmaine.
Wait, I think I have to pass it on to Kimani, yes?
I got it. I got it.
Throw it.
Got it. So I just want to let everybody know we appreciate you. We had a wonderful fundraiser and we appreciate everyone who came and donated. And because of you, we keep it going. So thank you for your donations. We are also wish list looking for young Black creatives to be a part of this wonderful team as an intern. So who's ever out there and wants that, please consider. And I also want to acknowledge some of the people behind the scenes. Yeah. We have Caitlin Handler, video tech expert. We have Gabe de Coladanu, BDS website. If you haven't gone, check it out. It is phenomenal. Tony Turner, BDS graphics. Tony. Renee Redding Jones, director of finance and development. We have Antonio Burkett, who is the ASL interpreter, and our beautiful interpreters here with us. So, and then Kojo Roni, of course. Our family is growing, and Everett Saunders, who also is part of this theme music. So know that we are thankful for this growing, beautiful Black family. And with that, I will turn it over to Charmaine.
Now I get it. I will take it. I know that Makeda wants to say one more thing, but I really want to make sure that we think about our loved ones. Stay close to them, hold on to them tightly, because this is a crazy time and we don't know what will happen tomorrow. So stay close to community, y'all. Hug each other, tell each other you love each other. Stay tight. Maki, you have one more thing, yes?
I have two more things. Community is such a big part of Black Dance Stories, so we want to know who's watching tonight. Drop some comments in the chat, say hello, where you're watching from. Feel free to engage, and share some love. Also, please follow us on our social media, our Instagram, Black Dance Stories, @BlackDanceStories, and our Twitter, @BLK Dance Stories. And most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We have a huge goal of making it to 1,000 subscribers. And we're gonna do that. We can't do that without your help and your community. So please subscribe, follow us, and share with your community. We have a Subscriber Sunday now. So look out for that on our social media. A day where we will be illuminating our amazing community, encouraging people, more people to be a part of this growing community. Make sure to like and comment on this video and spread some love. And without, I have one other thing, that today is the full moon in the energy of Leo, a fiery, loving, and passionate energy. It can be a really intense few days, but it's a great time to breathe, reflect, and release. Surrender to receiving, bask in the moonlight and the moon energy. So I'm sending love to all, and without further ado, everyone grab yourself some wine, water, tea, your cup of happy, as I like to say, and let's cheers to Black Dance Stories.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, another exciting night.
Yes.
So Kimani and Makeda are gonna go for a little bit, and we're gonna bring in Bill T. Jones. Come on in, Bill. You're still muted. Maki, unmute Bill for me, please. Thank you. There you go.
I unmuted?
Now you are.
Oh,
so
okay.
Introduce yourself.
Yes. Your introductions are epic. I wasn't prepared. I needed My name is Bill T. Jones. The T stands for TASS. Supposedly, my dad, who had a great sense of humor, when I was born, said we will name him after an old song. I think this is true. It's something about a racist governor of Georgia whose name was Bill Tass, but it was Bill Tass will kick a nigga's ass. My dad thought that this was funny, so and I don't regret the name. I think it has something to it. I am the grandson of Ike Jones, and my grandmother is Flo. Anna, oh God, that's my mother's side. Ike Jones married to my grandmother. And on my mother's side, it was Anna Edwards and a husband that I don't know the name of. My mother's is Estella Lucevi Walden. My father is Gus Jones. And I am number 10 in a family of 12. And I am conducting this conversation from the stolen lands of the Ramapough peoples in Rockland County, New York. And I think that's about all I have to say right now. I'm very, very, oh, yes, no. I am the surviving founder of Bill T. Jones Arnie Zane Company. Arnie Zane left this world in 1988. He and I were together for 17 years. I am now the husband of my husband, Bjorn Amelon, who is a transplanted European from Israel, Paris, who has now been living here in this house in Valley Cottage for 27 years.
So Bill.
Yes.
When we were having our funny chat, which is hilarious, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I realized that Makeda and everybody calls me Mama Charmaine.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably should call you Baba Bill, but I won't. But I want
I have to earn that, don't I, Charmaine?
I don't know, you've already earned it. I should have called you Uncle Bill, right? So
Uncle
you've
Bill,
already
yes.
earned that. But
Mm-hmm.
I realize now that many of the guests that are here are colleagues, and you are my go-to person. So I'm gonna steal a little bit of something of your
mm-hmm.
time, and maybe people don't know, but you are my go-to person, and you've been my go-to person. So long ago, when one of my first articles that I wrote for the Amsterdam Muse, I called you and I said, I need to do this interview. And you said, okay. And we went to a tea shop and you even bought my tea. Do you remember this?
You know, no, I don't remember it. I wish I had to shuffle my files. It sounds like a wonderful event. So do we have a nice chat?
We had a great chat. But
Mm-hmm.
since then, every time I ask you, you never say no. You've come to Ailey Fordham and talked to my students. You remember those times?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
And we have had many lobby chats. And when I asked you to do this, your email, I'm quoting, of course, it's a lively format which reflects so well on your personality.
It's true, Charmaine.
Oh, thanks. But I brought this up because community has been the place where I have landed since COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder for you, where have you landed since COVID?
Well, I must say that it's been, I was going to say I've gone deeper into that miasma of middle age. I guess it's no longer middle age. I guess I'm old now. Because of my health profile, because of my age, my husband and I have been held here in this house in our park-like gardens for 9 months now. Yes, we have taken a week or so here, but for the most part, the whole world, like for most people, it's about the digital experience. So community, I've a whole other description. I'm sure everyone who's been on the show has talked about that. I've discovered in some ways a broader world through Zoom and through Instagram and so on. But I also feel I'm missing another world. That was a world that was ready touch, ready sweat, ready eye-to-eye contact. So is that a landing? I am still trying to, excuse me, I have a bit of a cold and I'm eating as well. I'm still trying to live in this moment. I'm still trying to actually be in the world that I'm in, but I do feel I am waiting to get back to the other world, the real world. And I don't know how you feel, but there's a discipline now. Do we really believe that we should allow ourselves to have this idea about getting back to normal or another world? This one does not feel like, it's a lovely interlude. It makes for a lot of introspection, but it doesn't feel entirely real, to be honest.
I hope Janet's in the chat because you and I have also danced together.
Oh yes, really?
Yes.
And what was that though, Charlene? Charlene, remind me, please.
What the Fresh Tracks person? Janet said she was going to be on the chat, but she was a comedian, and we were upstairs. This is back when we were together. Speaking of sweating together and being together, right? And she was a comedian, hilarious, and we were upstairs.
Janet Wong. Janet Wong.
No, Janet Wong was there, but Janet should remember the name. Janet Wong, your associate artistic director. Am I right?
Associate artistic director, Janet Wong. Yes.
And we were in the audience. You were sitting close. And she was just funny. She started clapping and the whole audience started clapping and you couldn't sit still. I couldn't sit still. And we grabbed hands and we started do-si-doing back and forth upstairs. If you don't remember that, that was one time we danced together. And so the virtual one was with Holly Bass. I was watching you carry on outside.
Right. And Holly was doing her Moneymaker 12-hour marathon solo piece in our vestibule at New York Live Arts, which I wish I had said in my introduction. Yes, I am one of the founders of New York Live Arts, 219 West 19th Street in New York City. And we have a lively presenting series. And with the smarts of Janet Wong and Kyle Maud and Kim Cullen and the whole wonderful staff there, we were able to pivot and do a lot of things in our lobby, literally with the public on the other side of a big glass window. And that Holly Bass had an amazing soundtrack. Do you remember it? The soundtrack went from James Brown to Fannie Lou Hammer. Some things were very, very joyous and silly. Like that moment, I think we were doing a Motown routine. Holly was giving it, but to Medgar Evers, or was it, or his Medgar Evers' wife talking about Medgar Evers. So it was really, really great. And that was the same time as we were trying to get out the vote, remember?
I do remember.
We were not sure if young people of color and otherwise, were going to bother to get out and vote, but they did.
They did. And then Georgia was Black folks.
Yes. Blessed Stacey Abrams. Bless her.
Come on.
Yeah.
But do you want to say more about Nyla being there and what you've been doing there since there? I know I started this with the dancing together.
Well, the New York Live Arts is the result of a merger between Bill T. Jones Arnie Zane Company and the historic Dance Theater Workshop, a place where it was founded in 1968, and a place that I did some of my first concerts in New York in 1977, 78. We merged the boards came together just to amass our resources and fight off what looked like it might have been the end of that theater. But we were able to turn it around with the help of Gene Davidson and Kim Cullen, great executive directors. Our mission is to support artists at every stage of their development. We say that we are a place for rigorous investigation of experimental body-based performance. It's also a place for ideas. I say art making is the participation in the world of ideas for me. And since I am the thought leader there, we brought to New York Live Arts a vibrant yearly humanities festival. The first one dealt with Oliver Sacks and then James Baldwin at age 90. This year, it's going to be on Afrofuturism. We have a yearly gala. This year we're honoring Spike Lee and David Adjaye, the Basquiat family. And we will have guests like Tariq Schroeder or Black Thought from The Roots. It's a lively place. We are really trying to find out where thinking and moving meet, and also how can we heal some of the trauma in our country. It's very difficult in lower Manhattan and what used to be called the downtown scene to have truly integrated, truly diverse persons sitting in the same room together. Yes, there are some brave souls like yourself, Charmaine, who goes to see everything, but people are kind of divided. So one of my personal missions there is to find a way to get everybody to invest, to come. My associate artistic director, Janet Wong, is really naturally a people person. And she has a wonderful inviting way. And she's the eyes and ears of the programming, of which I am an important part. She and I are both the artistic directors. And she is out seeing something every night. And she is a real champion for artists, as am I. But of course, I am a working artist in another way. She is a wonderful filmmaker, great movement maker, but she doesn't consider herself a choreographer. I am self-involved, like many artists. I'm thinking about what's going on with my work, my life. What does this body have to say to me about the journey of life? And we live in special bodies, those of us like on this Black Stories call, we have inhabited bodies that are bodies that move for the sake of moving. Everybody has to move, it's true. It's literally one of the descriptions of being alive, I think. It be disabled or abled, there's some negotiation of time and space. But those of us who are in the dance world, we have another way of thinking about movement. And I think it's a political idea for me, this ability to move and the willingness to move for the sake of moving. I think it's also a challenge to the Puritan background that this country was supposedly founded on. It separated the body from the mind and the spirit. And being a person of color, we've been doing our part to heal that gap. And New York Live Arts wants to be at the front line of that investigation.
You were in rehearsal all day.
Mm-hmm. Yes, remote rehearsal.
I was just gonna say, maybe you can talk a little bit about that. Speaking of bodies moving, and how are you dealing with that? My friend, my Baba Bill.
Well, I was saying to my longtime collaborator, Robert Wurtzel, yesterday on a Zoom call, actually it was a Zoom postmortem from a rehearsal, and I was complaining that I had, because of COVID, I am here in upstate, 30 miles from my company. And I said to him, imagine, Robert, as a line designer, if you had to do it without a sense of color. In other words, you went colorblind. I feel the same thing with not being in real space. I have the desire to move around the work. I have the desire to be close and far away. But now it's all mediated by that box. And my staff, Janet and Hillary and Veronica, they're doing a great job, but it's something I get a little testy sometimes. I feel like I'm not being true to who I have been and who I want to be, a kind of warrior for real time and real space. But the performers, I sometimes look up and I say, Arnie, you wouldn't believe that with Arnie and I thought that we were so outside of the mainstream when we started, that we would never be able to attract the dancers that I have been able to attract. And they come and go, it's true, but there always comes a moment where you're looking at a room full of fresh faces, and they are very fresh right now. And you say, where in the hell did you come from? And how are you in this room with me? And I have a deep sense of gratitude. I have had to learn how to be Baba Bill, which I don't think I do very well, because I'm sometimes wounded and angry Bill. And they are only there, it's true, this is their employment. And we're very proud that we've been able to keep them, even during COVID, we've been able to keep them employed. But they're there to, there's something they're trying to show. They want to, they've studied at conservatory, or they've just been struggling to be movers. And they're saying, we're here to do this for you, Bill and Janet. So what do you want us to do? And sometimes, as you know, Charlene, there is a gap between what I think and what I feel and what they're doing. And that heat that comes up, which is not directed at them personally, but is directed at the circumstances of the making. So sometimes it feels like disapproval. So these young people are now in a little box, and I'm shouting, and the Wi-Fi is breaking up what I'm saying, or we're freezing and all. And there is that hot wire of connection between the choreographer and his, and this is very controversial, his sublime materials, which is what I call my performers. They don't really want to be called dancers. There's a hot wire between them. And sometimes Bill's craziness in the moment, sometimes stepping over boundaries, is just what it needs to ignite something in them. And then the art begins to happen. Just for a moment, this idea of them being sublime materials, some of them were shocked when I was saying that I trying to understand the contract between the lead artist, the choreographer, and I know that's a controversial idea right now among the young, but what is our relationship? I say that you are sublime materials. Sublime in the sense that sublime being awe verging on terror. When you look at Niagara Falls, or you look at a sunset or a forest fire, there's something terrifying and beautiful about it. A human being in the moment, in the moving, the slow evolution of a human being is like that. It's like a sunset, or it's like a forest fire, or an ocean view. So I hope I'm trying to compliment them. It can sound oppressive, I know, but that's how I understand the act of choreography. I was a member of a collective back in the 70s, the American Dance Asylum, and our leader was the wonderful Lois Welk and Joe Becker. But we were all kids together. We were all, we were coming out of the counterculture's notion of a commune. This is not a commune. This is not. And I am old enough to be the father of many of the people that I'm working with. So it's disingenuous to say that we're friends. What are we? And I'm nobody's dad. No, let's get rid of the family idea. No, we are a community, and this is old left-wing political way of thinking. Bless her heart, Frida Rosen, if anyone is interested, a great social therapist for myself, David Dorfman, people like that. And she used to always say that, you know, that she was interested in creating catalysts. Her brand of therapy implied that one saw the world as a place that one had to go in and catalyze change in. And that is how I think about my role in the company, and that's how I think about the company's role in the world. COVID has crimped our style, but we've turned out quite a few works. We've turned out at least 2 major works over the last 9 months, with people learning material, oftentimes from the videotapes, old videotapes of me dancing, but also generating material in their little living rooms or in their bedrooms. It has been a profound restatement of what a company is. People have to use the resources of their discipline to get themselves going, warm themselves up, and they're given assignments. Janet is great for giving assignments, and they have to make those assignments legible to me and Janet. And then we had an opportunity at the Armory to actually do a work as the Armory was looking for a small set of choreographers or performers. David Byrne is one of them. I'm the other one, that will help them thaw their programming. So we came up with a work called Afterwardsness, and it was made with people learning material remotely. And as soon as we had an opportunity to be in that large, glorious space, they went for it. And it was very, very moving. I'm chattering here. I'm like, is this what we're supposed to be doing?
It's perfect.
Okay.
And we're at time. Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
We're at
isn't that
time.
wonderful?
And Bill, I got to see the dress rehearsal of Deep Blue Sea.
Ah, mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
I hear you missing flesh and sweat, and I think we all do. Come on in, Darrell. We all do.
Yeah, yeah. And Deep Blue Sea, as you know, it is definitely an anti-COVID kind of work because the last section has 100 guests, and there's a lot of supporting and leaning, and so much so that I wonder about the work going forward. Will that last vision of community be possible anymore?
Damn, just damn. Well, so listen, y'all. Amy Costello is here. Maxine Montelis is here. Ariana, one of our interns, is here. Vincent is here. Zeta, I'm not sure your last name. Sandy Sawatka. Kyle Maud is here, Bill. Nina Lawson, Laura Marchese, Stacy Dinner, Hank Smith, Wendy Perrin,
Wendy.
Joe Malillo is here.
Hey,
Valerie
Joe.
I know. Cynthia Oliver, Nancy Rodriguez, Rena Shagan is here. Travian Pollard, Kyle Marshall, and they keep coming.
Oh, fantastic.
And so here's to you two.
Yes.
Have a fun little time together. And you're not going to like when I interrupt you, but I'll be back in a little bit.
No, I know because.
Oh, we left on our own just to chat.
Just
behave yourselves.
Bill.
Actually, no, don't behave yourself. Don't behave yourself.
Yeah. So, first of all, hello, Bill.
Hello.
It's just an honor. There's so much, me and you, we can go on and on and on. We should probably let everybody know about our moment together.
Yeah. Would you want to talk it through as you remember?
Yeah, I got to work side by side with Bill on a new musical he's working on called Paradise Square. And it was in a workshop phase in Canada. So we were there for about a month, right?
Yes, we were.
And we came together, and I want to just say that moment for me was really special. I call it hip to hip, in the musical theater world, because the choreography department, every department gets their own table. So you and I were just always next to each other. And some days I literally would turn and just be like, oh,
right.
Hey, I'm sitting here with Bill T. Jones, and it was an exciting moment. I think for both of us, just to get to know each other, how we were kind of put together.
Well, let's talk about what was tough about it. Was this is what you learn about the commercial world. It was the producer decided that I'm going to need an associate.
Yes.
And it's such a big job. We're just going to find somebody else. And they said, this is a fabulous young guy who we've been talking about, whose name is Moultrie. And of course, I was a little like, what is this? It just so happened that I liked you.
Yeah.
And it could have gone south, so to speak.
It's funny? Yeah. And I said that to so many friends that I said, this could have been one of the worst pairings, but it turned out to be so beautiful, learning so much from each other. And I just felt like it was a blessing, it was a moment. I think it's a moment, people tell you in your life, oh, you shouldn't do this. You should be working towards this. Like, oh, why would you go be Bill's associate? I'm like, Bill T. Jones? Why would I not go sit next to him and learn and soak up information? So it was just a really special moment we had. And it was nice because we were in another country, So
but you say why? I would never have done it.
Yeah.
I would never done because of the way I came about. When you have your style, your constituency, your set of questions. This is not the commercial theater. I think the commercial theater is a bit craven, actually. But the world that I come from, and the world that you have come into as well, Mr. Ailey worked to make a style. He worked to make the company in his vision, right? Now, it's true that Mr. Ailey was the choreographer for hire on different pieces. But I think that I was much more arrogant when I was younger. I'm still way arrogant right now. But the idea, I did not no, do not tell me what to do. And
Yeah.
certainly you want me on command to do some steps?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
no,
like that. Yeah, for me, I think it's, and this is a larger conversation. You
Mhm.
as a Black man, for me to be able to sit next to you, that was what it was for me. It was like I get to sit next to him. I feel like, I feel like my teachers had me teaching at a young age. So I've always
Mm.
kind of had like an old soul in a way. So I've been
Mhm.
teaching and teaching, and I feel like when it comes to mentors and just being around the energy of a Black
Mhm.
male, I lost my father young too, right?
Did you?
So it's that
Mhm.
idea of, but a Black male who did what I did, who was in the same world, who worked with
Mhm.
dancers. It was that kind of power. It was that energy of like, I have to be around this.
Well,
You
now
know
you
what I mean?
realize, of course, that we don't do the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
now have you seen the work of Bill and
Oh my,
Arnie?
yes, yes.
Right?
So I knew that. No, I knew
Yeah,
that
but then
going
when
in.
I saw the work that you were making for these gods and goddesses, and it was full of a kind of humor. It was extremely uh, accessible. It was very embracing. You did not. I didn't get the alienated, um, lonely genius coming out of you, which is what we were taught was the most important thing to do as an artist. You have to realize that you are a different beast than most other people, and you protect it in any way you can.
Yeah,
You, very talented man, but
yeah.
also you know how to please. You
Mhm.
know how to make movement and its color, and you know how to really choreograph for Black people. And I think that that's something that I came out of the white avant-garde. I still remember dancing in front of the jukebox as a child and all,
Yeah,
and we were Black people, were potato pickers. But the idea of there's something that you understand that you really have gotten from Mr. Alien, from about what a Black audience. Am I wrong here? Tell me if I'm wrong. You
no,
understand something about a Black audience.
yeah, no, you're right. And it's in it. And I think it's also, it's for me being growing up in New York, the
Hmm.
Black audience, growing up in Harlem,
Hmm.
knowing just what meant so much to us, and
Yes.
and how we got to express ourselves, and how to make sure that's celebrated and respected.
Now look how easily you just said us and we.
Yeah.
For the tortured son of a bitch that I am, it's very difficult for me to say us and we about any category.
Yeah.
There was me, there was my um, Jewish, 5'4" Jewish companion. I
Mhm.
met him when I was 19, and he and I went on an adventure, and we had our dukes up.
Wow.
Because we were, and so I didn't understand. I knew my family. I know the Jones tribe, but that was a tough trip as well because they didn't know what the hell it was that this thing I was doing. Could you make any money in it?
Yeah.
And well, oh wait, that's not the point. Uh, it's not about making money. Now, isn't that something for a Black man to be saying to your parents who you've been one of the first to go to college? And what are you doing? I'm studying modern dance.
Yeah.
Well, can you make some money from it? Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I said, how'd you deal with that question of your folks wanting to know, could you make a living?
Oh yeah, it's we touched on it earlier, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like it is the idea of like today. I saw my mother today, and I could go to my mother's house. She does anything to get me over there, right? But I could
Fantastic.
say I would love some breakfast. She's up and she won't really cook. She hates cooking anymore. But if I go over there, she's up at that kitchen. She's cooking. But at the same time, we spoke about this earlier. You have a family that loves you to pieces. They have no
Mm.
clue what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it humbles me when I go over there, but they don't understand what I do. And I would love to even ask you, like, what was that like with your family? So it's like this weird thing. I go to this place where they love me to death. But if I start talking about dance, I try to start conversation, try to show work. Oh, look at this piece. They'll look at it and they gaze out. It's like, but if I say, listen, I need y'all to go here and do this, they are running around to help me and love me. But I always had to like have this thing. It was like being an artist in a house where people didn't understand you. When I talk to young
Mm.
people now, I always tell them stay on your grind mentally and stay
Mm-hmm.
true to your passion. And it's not that the family doesn't love you, it's that they don't understand.
Do you mind if I ask you, here we are, what's your sexual orientation?
Gay.
Yeah, me gay. Easy
Yeah.
for us to say it, right?
Yes.
But you know how difficult that was with being 19 years old, going off to college, being one of the first to go to college. And what's more, you bring home a white guy, young, who is gender non-conforming, we would say right now. So all right, that's a big one. And what are you doing with this? You know, what are you doing? I'm studying something called modern dance. Oh, you mean like Sammy Davis Jr.? Because we know show business.
Yeah.
No, this is not show business.
Yeah.
Well, then what kind of business is it? Right.
Yeah.
So you're gay. You're doing something that has no market value, and nobody's ever heard of they've never heard of Martha Graham. They never heard of, and my people never heard of Alvin Ailey.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, so it was always, you know, I say grandly right now, oftentimes art happens when something is being pushed against. Now that might be a way of hiding one's madness, one's neuroses, but I feel like that's what I always understood. The world was telling me, you got to work for this, man. We are not here to give you anything.
Yeah.
You think you know what beauty is? Show us something. Move us.
Yeah.
Move us.
Yeah.
On whose terms am I supposed to move you? You know?
Yeah.
Well, you know, Miss Rayleigh and I, when Denise Jefferson invited me to come, and Arnie and I were making noise downtown, so she was inviting young choreographers. We came to work with her students at the school. May she rest in peace, Denise Jefferson, the head of the Ailey School.
Jeez.
So I did this workshop with Ailey kids. You were not in that, I don't think. No, because I sometimes meet people say, I was in that workshop.
No,
okay. Anyways, we were supposed to do a show, and without thinking, the door opens, and there comes Mr. Ailey himself with Pearl Primus, and I think Tally Beatty. Yeah. And so, you know, they're come down and they're sitting there. They want to see the new dance, right? This is a workshop with students. Yeah. So we did this thing, and Alvin was very gracious. He and I always got on very well. And then we're sitting and talking. I tell this story a lot, so if anybody's heard it. And we're talking like this, you and I, but the whole room has quieted. And they're all leaning in. And I said to him, well, what do you think of downtown dance? I like it when they dance, he says. Yeah. Well, what did that mean? I like it when they dance. No, he did not think Rudy Perez sitting in a chair smoking a cigarette to music was dancing. He did not think that Lucinda Childs stuffing rollers into her mouth was dance. I don't know how he felt about Merce. I don't know how he felt about Trisha Brown. I don't know how he felt about the people that meant something to me. Yeah. But he did see me, and he had this, and I think he felt something protective. So, but he invited me to come and make a piece for the company, the first company.
Very special, yeah.
That was very special. I praise him forever for talk about Black men and mentorship. You know, that was what he showed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. And just before Charmaine breaks us up,
I know. I told you wouldn't like it.
Oh, no, I'm loving everything.
No, just like simple questions. Like you talked about thinking earlier, right? Do you have times where you just stop and your brain stops? Do you have something that you have in your life that you get to just relax, just like you have no thoughts? Like, is
you
it
mean
sex
like and smoking a joint and sex?
Yeah.
That's a crude answer, but no, it never stops. It never stops. No, it doesn't stop.
Do you have, last question is, what's your first memory of dance where you felt like this is going to be a part of my life forever? When you moved and you said,
we were living in a converted tractor barn, Black folks. We were brought up north to work in the fields in upstate New York, picking potatoes. And on Friday night, it's in a book I wrote, there was a jukebox in the front room. We were supposed to be in bed, and I was not in bed. I snuck out to see what the grown folks are doing. And I saw a woman whose name was, this is Mary. She was a very Black woman, really Black. And she was wearing, I kid you not, hot pink sequins. This is a little rural place uptown. And she put in a quarter in that machine, and there's a table full of men there. And I remember her holding the jukebox and just beginning to do the slow grind to the machine. And the men were all like going, woo, woo, woo. And literally she began to do what we call the scratch.
Uh-huh.
At that time, it was like when you make, it was a very suggestive dance. We're talking the late 50s. And she would start at her head and then she would like come down over her body as if she was going to shred those sequins. And that whole time, that big body was moving to the music, like Bobby Blue playing or something like that. And my mother, I'm quoting from the book, my mother saw that I was not in bed. She turned, hit my, go back to sleep. But I said I had seen dancing. I had seen dancing, and I had seen transgression, and I had seen beauty, all in one breath. Little boy, I was not supposed to see that. That's what I remember.
I love
you
it.
know? Yeah.
There are a lot of folks still coming in still, y'all. Jamal is here, Bill.
Hey, Jamal, how are you,
Abdul
man?
Rahim Jackson, Sandra Burton, Natria is here.
Lovely.
Wow.
Diane McIntyre.
Diane.
Zane Booker, Elena Conuli,
Nice.
Stephanie Tooman,
Nice.
Monica, I didn't see her last name, Monica, Joseph Lauro, Amy Hall Garner, and Shayla V is here.
Shayla B, hello, honey, hello.
Oh,
You know, I would like to take some, Mr. Moultrie and I would take some credit, but I know these people are coming to worship at the church of Charmaine Warren as well. So, so.
Come on, Baba Bill. You know I'm loving up on that.
You know, I'm just turning on the charm mode right now.
Yes.
You know?
All right, don't go too far, Bill. We'll see you in a minute. Get some hugging up and loving up and take care of that cold. See you in a second.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye. Welcome, honey.
Yeah. Hey. How
Cheers.
are you?
I'm
Cheers.
good.
This is
Introduce yourself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Darrell Grand Moultrie. To go through everything, I am the youngest of 5 children. My mother, Pamela Maria Moultrie, and my father, Bernard James Madison. I am on the stolen land of the Lenape people here in Harlem. I am born and raised here in Harlem. Been here all my life. I'm sitting here in my living room in Harlem, wearing my black hat, black Scully striped shirt with a small shirt covering it, tie-dye shirt, with one of my mentors behind me, and different special people. It's like a sacred windowsill that I stand as much as I can in front of. I have my Ailey poster behind me that was given to me. It's a poster that was never seen in America. It was given to me by Mr. Matthew Rushing when I was in my sophomore year of college at Juilliard. He wrote a special note on it. I thought I was ready to go to heaven, so it's been in my house, any house I've had since the end of college, so it stays with me. Very special person. And I'm here, that I'm here, in my apartment, making it through COVID. And as far as a story, for me, a story that resonates with me. I love teaching. I love giving back. I was blessed with passionate teachers, and it's a story I tell because I want it to be known. Here in Harlem, there was a woman named Gwendolyn McLeod. She was my 3rd grade teacher, and she introduced me to musical theater in 3rd grade. So it's funny, when I grew up with doing musical theater with her in a Harlem school where the teachers were always underpaid. She put her money into bringing in a choreographer, and she strategically introduced us to the arts. Like, we did all types of musicals, Black musicals, white musicals, all styles. She took us to Broadway shows. She took us to opera. She took us to tons of Alvin Ailey performances, Dance Theater of Harlem, New York City Ballet. She strategically exposed us to everything that New York had to offer. And in the 3rd grade, she went to my mother, who, I was the youngest child. My mother was like, take him. She was like, your son is gifted and he's mine. And my mother was like, okay, he's yours. She made me sign a contract in the 3rd grade that said I would drink water, I would do well in school. I would never be late. I mean, it was like the contract was, and she said and I would have to get good grades. If I stood up to my side of the bargain of the contract, this was September 11th, 1989. She said she would pay for everything I did in the arts. She paid for every dance class. She put me in school at Broadway Dance Center. Then she took me to a school in East Harlem called the Boys and Girls Harbor, which was then, was also Harbor Conservatory for the Performing Arts. She introduced me to passionate teachers. She paid for every tap shoe, every ballet slip, everything. My mother had to pay for nothing, and she continued to expose me. And she was in my life for so many years. This is her and I. Yes, her name was Gwendolyn McLeod. And a funny story was that my teachers, Miss Nina Clivert Lawson, Burton K. Rouser, Ramon Rodriguez at the Boys and Girls Harbor in East Harlem, they had me teaching at a young age. So I'd be at Juilliard, and on Friday nights we go out to the club. Friday night. Saturday morning, I was teaching tap to babies, like coming in from the class. Like they had me teaching at a very young age. So teaching has been a huge part of my life. And I wanted my part of my story to just be a testament to teachers, and how now what I do, whether it's choreography in the room, whether it's teaching young people, it's such a duty you have. And I remember once I was at Ballet Met Columbus, and they had me work with the younger students. And my mentor, she passed away about five years ago now. She came to the show, and they were just telling her how amazing I was with the young kids from the community. And she was a spitfire. She said, okay, that's what he's supposed to do, because it was done for him. That's the kind of person she was. So I wanted to just talk about that, and just what it was like just growing up and being exposed. Once I started to get into training and getting into different schools, and once I started doing ballet and modern and learning about, I went to LaGuardia High School. They had a junior high school program. We were introduced to Elio Palmare, which was in junior high school, introduced to him. It was mind blowing. That's when we started learning about Martha Graham and learning different techniques. It just opened me up and changed me, So I always I feel like I'm this, and there's so many conversations I know we could go off with Bill, but it's like I'm a mix of all these things, and all these people, and it's like this. It's almost like I don't want to say it's a calling, but it's something you can't explain. That when you get in the room with other vessels, it's like this thing you have to put onto them and like share with them. It really starts to feel like this is a circle, that it just keeps moving, and the next group comes, and you have your job while you're in that moment to do it. So that's my
Are you a
story.
Mama Gwendolyn
This
for
woman, Mama
somebody?
Gwendolyn. Yeah.
Are you a Mama Gwendolyn for somebody now?
Oh yes, for many, and I love it. I think for me it's important. It's something I've had to do, but I have kids that I've put into dance classes, kids that I speak to, young choreographers that I talk to. So it's definitely something that she's always there with me. And it's a story that I wanted to share, because so many people want to teach and they want to get into this thing, but it's a huge service job, that you have to love to do it and want to see people change.
And not all teachers are good teachers, right?
Yeah. No, not at all. And you have to, I think, as you get older, you start to get more secure in what you do, so you have to just keep pushing it, but try to help find the next good teachers. Yeah. But I think it comes from the passion of the teacher you have. It comes from the example, so hopefully we're all doing that to make this thing keep going.
So talk about some of your dance making.
Yeah.
And then your recent Ailey, well, it wasn't recent, but it feels like it was recent.
Yeah, it was, Ailey is something, again, Alvin Ailey for me, growing up in New York, when we first saw Alvin Ailey, it was just everything, and growing up in New York, we started out with street dancing. You had to do hip hop. You had to know the latest dances, and you had to be good. there's no there was no, it was like, these are the good ones, these are the bad ones. There's no broad strokes, you had to be good. So starting out with that, and then being introduced to more being introduced to ballet and modern and Graham and African, and it changed you. I always say kids who come from certain cultural backgrounds who are introduced to this other stuff, you kind of become mutant. So you have all these different styles going through you and weaving through you, maintaining your base. You know what I mean? But Ailey was something that I always wanted to choreograph on Alvin Ailey. It was one of the companies that moved me. And I think being in New York, it was Ailey, Dance Theater Harlem, you know, New York City Ballet, seeing that, we got to see so much in New York, that we were very lucky. But the Ailey experience was really, really just those moments that you go, it happened, it's like, and I wish I could have met him, I wish I could just pick his brain, so to be a part of that legacy, through Robert, was just really, really special for me. Yeah, it was a great rehearsing. And for me, dance making is, for me, it's going in the room, and I am into physicality. I am into dancers having to use their technique, but also dive into who they are as people and what they can say, with their bodies, how far we can go. A language that doesn't have to be described sometimes, let us feel it. I think dancers should move. I love, physicality. But I also love very soft and adagios and beautiful musics where dancers get to sink into who they are. And I think every day, sometimes you wake up different. I think for me, you wake up in different moods, you wake up with different ways of thinking how you want to express movement through a vessel, so it's been.
Should we talk about your commercial stuff?
Yeah. I mean, some of the, I think a lot of people know I got to work with Beyonce, which was a short, quick gig. It was a nice gig. You got to be around her for like maybe 2 months. It was supposed to be like a Super Bowl performance that got canceled. My section got kind of canceled. She just sang the part that I was gonna do, and then she hired me to come into uh, her Mrs. Carter tour that year through a man named Frank Gatson. Ashley Everett was a dancer I knew who was her dance captain. Um, and they got me in there just to kind of work. There's so many different choreographers in there. So I got to do that. And then musicals, so my first love, again, third grade, was musicals. So just I performed on Broadway in Billy Elliot, Hairspray, Aida. So the musical route for me, it really, really was the route I thought I was going to go. It really was. The ballet route was not the route. I thought I was going to go the musical route. So anytime I go do musicals, it just feels like, since I've been doing this since third grade, it's what I do. It's what I know. But it is another life, another world, You have to navigate these different worlds. But the commercial world is, it's just different as far as like working for a client. If you work for a client, they're kind of the boss. I loved being the one who could go in a room and just create what I wanted, but I have respect for all of it, you know.
So there's no room now to go create, or how are you dealing with the little room that you have to create?
Yeah, it's similar to what Bill was saying too. It's up and down. It can be frustrating. I think at first, when this first started, my gut reaction was, I'm not doing Zoom. I was like, what? I'm gonna be dancing in this tiny apartment. I'm not doing this. And they're looking at me. But eventually, when I did my first class, I saw those kids in those different rooms. People were in closets. People were next to fridges. I was like, okay, I love this. Like, we got to do this. We have to stay. We have to stay in this. And I just got hooked to it. I go up and down. And that's why I love, like, even when Bill was talking, I love to see the human side of what we do, because I think people give us these titles, and it's like, you know, he's like sex and weed, right? Let's be real, you know. So there are times where I'm like depressed, or times I'm really inspired, or times I'm just numb watching Ozark, you know, eating Haagen-Dazs. Don't tell my friends that I shouldn't be eating sugar, you know. But you know what I mean? So it's this, I think we're all in this thing together, and it's been just interesting navigating and talking with friends. My friends have helped me a lot through this. The laughing, the cracking of jokes, and I think a lot of people don't know how much of us are. We're all on the phone together. I think our generation. I would love to ask Bill that. With our generation, people don't realize that I'm on the phone with Abdur Rahim, Marshall Davis, Camille Brown, Cal Abraham, Amy Hall Garner, Natria Blake, Olivia Bowman. These are people who we are on the phone, like on the phone. I think last night I was on the phone with Camille, yapping. So I think it's just different for us. They help though, the laughing and it just, that really helps, you know, to be around a group of people who support you and they know what you're going through. The laughter has really helped through COVID, you know, where you're on the phone with friends. Wendell Holland, who also worked with Bill on Paradise Square, James Brown III, Red George. I can keep going on, you know. My friends are everything, you know. They really.
So Bill said weed, sex, and
Yes.
you said laughter. Anything else?
It's laughter. I need to date. Like I'm on like, there's an app called Hinge. I'm trying to like navigate, but I go on and off the apps. I hate them. I think they're crazy. So, you know, that's Bill, you ain't got to deal with apps. You got to deal with apps. It's so you're like, you know, your face is up there and you're just like, oh, let me, you know, you have to like say funny quotes, and it's just terrible. It's terrible. There's this new app called Hinge, you know, now it's like, so it's like, what is this? So I'm doing this with the masks. If I see somebody really handsome, I'm like, so now I'm mask flirting. I can't. I can't. I just
Wait,
can't.
there's a term called mask flirting?
No, I just made that up. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Well, let's call it masking.
Uh,
Yeah. So that's been my life, you know, but COVID has also made me think, okay, it's time to focus on love. Like what
Oh.
does love look like now? What does that look like? Bringing someone into your space. You know?
Because now in our space is different. And
Yeah.
Bill, Bill talk about it during his talk or in the pre-chat when we were talking about going back to the normal or whatever we were saying, remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that, we're comparing, aren't we?
Yeah.
The pre and the now
Yeah.
and what's to come.
It's different. Yeah. And I was, you know, we all stay so busy, you know, and I think COVID, for me, the first 2 months of COVID, I was looking left, I was looking right, and I was kind of like, I think this is a vacation I was fantasizing about, because like Bill said, I think Bill used the word interlude. I was like, oh, this is an interlude. They're going to get something. We're going to all go back. We're going to be off for maybe 3 months. And this is crazy. Oh my God. But I'm loving this break. And then slowly I was like, oh, this isn't a break. This isn't a small break. This is serious, you know? So I think at first I was longing for that vacation, you know, longing for that vacation. Yeah. But
And now, and one of the things you did a lot was work with Sister Amy Hall Garner.
Yes. She's been by my side for years, and she's thriving right now, and I'm so happy. I love her. She's choreographing a lot on many different companies, and it's nice when someone who's come up with you gets a light on them. But what I think people should know is that it's not a light that I wasn't trying to put on her from the beginning. You know what I mean? And I think the devices, sometimes I hate the separation. It's almost like Amy and I we're coming up together, and then slowly society goes, separate. She has to go that way. And we're like holding hands, like, why? Why do we have to separate? We've been helping each other from day one, you know? So I think it's amazing to watch her journey. She's a mother who is in a point in her career where she's pushing forward and getting out there and still talking on the phone, giving her advice. Don't do this. You should do that. And talk about advice. You know, I don't think I do anything that doesn't go through her. What should I do? Don't do that. Why are you doing this? You should do that. And so it's a back and forth relationship. Again, same with Camille, we talk. Same with Kyle, we talk. Same with many creatives out here that we're helping each other. Advice. We give each other advice, you know, and it's a beautiful thing that I would love the world should know that you can be on your separate islands, but I guess our group, we came up together. You know, it was a very special group that we're all moving in these circles now, you know, but those bonds will never be broken.
That's your community, boy.
Yeah. It's a lot of that. It's really, really cool. You know, because we say the word community, but it's almost like we have this community that no one knows. You know, they see us as separate, but I really love it. I really love it. It's a special part of my life.
Anything coming up?
Next is I go away again with ABT to California to do.
I keep forgetting you did ABT already.
Yeah. So I did a bubble piece with them, like isolated, and that was really, really fun just to be able to get out into the country. But now we go to California. I'm gonna expand the piece, expand the work, and add a few more dancers. So I get to go do that in about 3-4 weeks for about a month. And then after that, I think there's a work that I did in Japan. They want to do it again through Zoom, so it's a whole Zoom Japan life. But I'm very excited. And then in between there, you can catch me roaming in the streets in New York, just walking. I've been walking so much more now, and I never got a chance to do that. So you can catch me in the Central Park, Columbia University. Their campus remained open during COVID, where you could just, so you can catch, that's been the great part because I get to think my thoughts. I have more thoughts that are going through my head now. So a lot of walking and just kind of like roaming the streets of the city with no time clock on me. So that's been nice to be in this city. You know,
I think Bill, come on back in, because that was the question you asked him, right? About thinking. And he said it doesn't get turned off.
Yes.
So you're roaming the streets and thinking.
Yeah. Hey, Bill.
Hello. Mm-hmm.
So right about now, I go into the chat and I see if there are questions. So talk amongst yourself for a second.
Yes.
And I'm going to see if there are questions. The folks are very happy. They're carrying on in the chat, just so y'all know.
I had another question. Bill,
go ahead, ask your question of Bill.
Are you binge watching any TV? Like, do you?
Oh, yes.
A lot. I want to know, like, give me 2 good shows that you love.
Well, I think one of the most brilliant things I've seen is a show. It's called Subura. It's about the mafia in Rome. That's really exceptional. I think it's up there with The Wire, The Sopranos, you name it. It's called Subura, Subura.
Okay.
And a guilty pleasure, and I'm really is Ertugrul, Resurrection. It's about the founding of modern Turkey. And it's in the 13th century with Genghis Khan raising hell all over Europe. And there's a character who is like a storybook hero. Maybe that's what it is when I'm feeling I'm angry or defeated by the world. But talk about a man of action.
Yeah.
Ertugrul knows what to do. He's going to kick ass all the time and everyone's in love with him. And he's going to build the modern state of Turkey on top of it. And it's very melodramatic, but beautifully designed. It is, it's really wonderful. What about you? What have you watching?
Oh, I love, I'm a The Wire person, but right now I'm watching Billions. It's on Showtime, a show called Billions. My friend.
Oh, I loved it. I loved the first few seasons, but when they started all that cynicism around money and art, that's the third, was the fourth season.
You got into it.
Okay. Oh yeah, we're loyal.
Yes, Billions and Ozark. I'm getting into now.
Oh yes, Ozark.
Everybody's been like, you're late, but I'm getting into Ozark.
That's
but
really
I just love to hear that. I love seeing those questions. I want to know. Those are the fun questions. Can I ask him one more question? Because I got him here. So this is the only other question. I'm talking about relationships and dating, and you were with Arnie, and then,
did you say dating? What is dating? Man, I don't even know what dating is. No, please go on.
Know what it is?
And he was talking about an app, Bill.
Yeah, app. Come on, Bill.
Sorry. Carry on.
So like, was there ever a moment, I know we know about your relationships. Was there ever a moment where you were alone and you felt lonely? You felt
my loneliness was the existential loneliness I felt as the Black man I was trying to be in the White Avant-Garde. I met Arnie when I was 19. He died in my arms 17 years later. I had 5 years, blissful years with Arthur Aviles, who was also in my company. Arthur and Bjorn did a changing of the guard. And I've been with Bjorn now 20, how many?
Wow.
28 years. I'm a couple person.
Did you just ask Bjorn how?
Yes, I did. That's where I keep my brain, my extra brain over here.
Right.
There's Bjorn and there's Janet Wong, my brain.
Janet is here. Janet is here, and everybody's giving Janet all kinds of shout outs in the chat. Janet.
Oh yeah, because the world doesn't work without Janet Wong. I'm very grateful. But what about you though? What was the question about relationships and so on? What is it? What's the question?
Like what is dating? You know, I think it's trying to figure out how to balance your career with meeting people who you think number one can support you. So I found a lot that in dating, you find people who they don't know how to support an artist. They don't, and they're not really interested in it. And again, so many people still think what we do is like, oh, you work with dancers, and you're trying to explain it. You're telling them, oh, that's nice, you know. So it's trying to navigate that. And once you get to a certain level, you go, I can't deal with this. I need somebody who supports.
Well, you know, I don't know how it works out. Maybe I'm just lucky, but my partner has always been a creative person. And in most instances, and this is really strange, I work with my partner. Arnie Zane and I founded the Bill T. Jones Arnie Zane Dance Company. It's now Bill T. James Arnie Zane Company. Arthur Vilez was a premier dancer in my own company. He went off to do his own work in the Bronx. And Bjorn was a creative director of the company, but now he is literally, he's an artist. He's a beautiful painter. So no, I've never really had to, I've never been with a person that did not understand the wonder and the crazy of it.
Yeah, the wonder and the crazy of it. Yeah.
And because artists, I think artists are kind of self-involved, don't you think?
Totally. You can, we are self-involved, and you do need somebody who understands that. We're self-involved, but then there are times where we're very vulnerable and we drop all that and we need somebody to hold us and talk to us. You know what I mean? So it's,
as a matter of fact, some of us actually are so transgressive as to bring that stuff center stage in the work, the vulnerability.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like there have been things that I have said and done in public that I'm thinking later, oh my God, what did you just say and do? You know, let's talk about being HIV positive.
Yeah.
Let's talk about AIDS.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, anal sex. Yeah. Let's go to all the dangerous places and let's make it the center of what we're doing.
And I love that, because I think even when I do teach younger people, I always try to let them know that you're not, sometimes you get a guru, like you said, I don't want to be called Baba, you know what I mean? I don't want to be called father, you know what I mean? But it's that idea of like, you get this responsibility, but I think people have to know that we are all humans. We're humans.
Well, wait a minute, let's talk about responsibility now. This is what I don't get. And this is probably why I'm not a good daddy. And this is why, Charmaine, I don't know if I'm in good standing in anybody's community, right? I know that's—
Wait, before you continue, I'm going to read this. Before you continue, Baba Bill, Jamal says, is always a pleasure to be a sublime material for Bill's creativity and Janet's guidance. So in your face, Bill T. Jones.
Please. And Jamal got my heart, because he was able to, this is a man who used to escort legends. He was the one who was trying to put me and Elio together so we would talk. He was with, this is a young dude who was saying, you're all elders. That was the first time I heard someone say that in a way that I felt, oh, I see what he means. Yeah. And what's more, I can do that. Anyways, you disturbed my line of reasoning, probably just as well. I was about ready to pontificate anyways. What were we talking about? What were we talking about?
Being accepted? Or saying the right things? Is that what it was?
Yes. What is transgression?
Mm-hmm.
What is transgression? And for me, that is the lifeblood of art, particularly art that is trying to, as I say, push against something. What is transgression? Now you mix that with a desire on the part of people like myself to please. And then, but at the same token, you feel you're like a cantankerous cat, you know, the type that you brush them and then they go. But that's what those are the people I respected as artists.
Yeah.
Terrible sons of bitches, you know?
Yeah.
But that's what I loved. I thought that's the real shit. Oh, am I cursing too much?
No.
No.
Okay. All right, good. Sorry. It just comes out. What were you saying? How do you feel about transgression?
I think it's like, it's almost like it's what you said. It's all, I think I was in love with I'm in love with all of it. So I'm in love with joy. I'm in love with anger. I'm in love.
Oh, wait a minute. In love with anger?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a part of our lives. It's a real part of our life. Like when I say in love with it, meaning just like, if there's someone who can express it or I can help them express it through the work, that excites me, because it's almost like getting out my anger through the vessel, you know, knowing that there is joy, but there's also pain, and there is anger, that we're everything, you know. So it's enjoying that, you know. And we've all had teachers who were like, don't mess around in this room. I'm going to light all of y'all up, and I'm going to, you know, and you knew a chair could be coming, or you're going to scream at you. And there was a part of you that was like, you know what? I love this. But then at the same time, there were teachers who were like, this will be a joyful experience from the moment you walk in that door. To the Freddie Moore at Alvin Ailey. He's a teacher at Alvin Ailey. He runs the performance group.
Yeah.
Freddie walks in the room and the sun comes out, and it's from his heart. He loves teaching. Now he may have other stuff going on in his life, but when he steps in the room with students, it was like, as a kid, you ran to his class. Then there were some teachers that were like, "What are you doing?" And it was, you know, so. But I loved.
And that's why I do not consider myself a teacher. I am, and when I'm often asked to talk to. I'm not great with I love little kids. It's true. I love them. My husband and I lay in bed at night and look at Instagrams of cute babies. We love that, you know, just laughing and so on. However, my art, if you ask me in front of a group of young college-age people, the first thing is I say, who's the badass here? Yeah. Who's the one that's going to say, Bill T. Jones, we know you might be somebody I should respect, but I'm going to tell you, fuck you, because I don't believe anything you're saying. I don't want to be abused. But I'm looking for that person who is going to pierce. Yeah. That person who's going to say, no, I have my own mind. Yeah. That's who I'm talking. There are very few around. That's true. Now, it's one thing to be to say I fuck you to the world. There's another thing to be able to say fuck you to the world, and you got the shit to make something that the world needs to hear and see. Yeah. Now, I'm talking about art. What is art? Yeah. Art is dangerous. Art should be scary. Yes. All those things. And I know we want to sell art to make money and make people feel good, feel sexy. That's not its first purpose. Yeah. It is supposed to be cutting through the bullshit. Yeah. Yeah. And do you realize, I mean, do you think that, you know, in a world where even creating something joyful is dangerous still, in a world that wants to only see your anger and only wants to put a light on your anger and your sadness and your, you know, being joyful is also a revolutionary, dangerous act. Because amen, my brother. Amen. It's a system that says no. Show us your anger. That's what we're comfortable with. We've done so much to you in this country that when I see your anger, that is it. Show me that. I think I think they're both dangerous. They're both revolutionary, and I think there's a place. Well, you know, I appreciate looking at your kind and open face. It is natural for you to do that. And that's a beautiful thing. I don't know. I think I can be a fun guy, but as time goes on, it's harder for me to find it. And as a matter of fact, I've been saying that I feel that when I was a kid, I was open. I was embracing the world. But as I've grown older, I think I've grown a callus on my heart. And I have to work to soften that callus. When you know something about the world, and I don't know, what do you think about this one? Maya Angelou used to say, what was it? Maya Angelou was telling us, we're talking about life and making a difference. And she said, was it her mother? Her grandmother said, her grandmother used to say to her, you want to know what difference you make in the world? Come over here. She take a bucket of water, stick your hand in it. Now take it away. Now tell me where you were. Yeah, put your hand in a bucket of water. Now move it away. That is what your life can be. Well, that's what your life is, right?
Yeah.
So strut and fret your hour upon the stage, but don't expect any returns.
Yeah.
Now, does that sound like Buddhism or just plain bitter neurosis? I'm not sure. It's a little bit of both, I think.
Both. I think, yeah, I would say both.
I have a question that I think might fit within this part of your, it's hard to stop you all. You know this, right? Del Howlett says, for both of you, can you speak about what it means to be creating work in such an incredibly charged, brutal moment in our country? Has anything shifted or fallen away?
Does that, Del? Hey, Del.
Yeah.
Del was the person that Mr. Moultrie here said, I know of another guy. He's great. You know, and I think isn't that how it works?
Yes,
Del?
yes.
You know?
That's one of my best
And it was a wonderful suggestion, and I love Del. Well, you know, Del, I would say my life, it's felt like I've been fighting just to be able to say I existed since it was not easy to be Estella Jones's child. There were 12 of us. You got to compete to get somebody's attention. And, going off to school in the German-Italian community, I learned early on how to clown. You talk about, I think you were describing the dilemma of a Black man, but they want you on one hand to entertain, and on the other hand, they want you to be angry, and it's all to be absorbed like entertainment. Well, I remember my dad saying, yeah, you learn how to go out and grin for them white people. And yes, that's what he understood, because when I was doing musical theater in high school and having success, he was never mean, but that was one of the meanest things he ever said, So it was, what does it really mean to be available to the world? What does it mean to be available to the world if you think that world is really a veil of tears and that they want to get you?
Yeah.
So then you become a seducer. Then you find you're always trading on, when to take your shirt off, when to wink at a man or a woman, when to work that thing, because they all think you have big dicks, all that stuff. When do you have to learn to do all that stuff, because the body is the vehicle, and you're young, you're an athlete, and you want to get over. But then it's supposed to be about making joy, right? That's your cue, sir.
Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, yeah, I'm listening. No, I like to.
You look so peaceful, right?
Yeah, you're what you just said. You're onto it, and it is, and then it's about making joy, right? So then it's like, is it you making it? Is it you making the choice, or you feeling like people need you? People want you to do that. And I think for me personally, it's the best part I will say about getting older is you stop worrying about what people are thinking. Right? Stop worrying about. So yeah, I know.
Do you felt you've gotten there? You're there?
Oh, I'm getting really close. Yeah, and his question was, what is this moment doing for you? There's something about watching. I mean, we've all seen everything, but we've seen so much, but for our generation to watch that man's knee on George Floyd's neck, it was a wake-up call for so many people who we've seen so much, but something about the present day, just being able to see it filmed for that long and to watch to hear him call his mother, everything went away of okay.
Yeah. It was more than the world deserved, actually. It was so poignant, so real, so full. It was more than this fucking world deserves. Well, Del, going back to your question, I think that like I say, art happens always when something is being pushed against. So this is a sacred fire we're in right now.
Mhm.
And those of us who have, you got to have the technique, you got to have the stamina, you have to have the courage. That's always the conditions of life, I feel, always, you know. No, why did you earn that food you ate today? Why are there people hungry in the world and you ate? Already, if you think about that, you would be frozen with insecurity and fear if you dare think about the inequity in the world. So yes, you're right, George Floyd was big time.
Yeah.
But if you think about it right now, there are people around the world who are suffering because we're well fed and well heated tonight. And the children are coming along. Can you imagine the world that we're leaving them?
Yeah.
You know? And so, yeah, it's always code alert. It's always code alert. Artists are supposed to be the ones out there in front who are digging through it and finding sometimes joy, finding, you know what I felt? I had this something from the beginning. I thought I knew when I was lying.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to tell the truth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did I succeed? 30% of the time. But that's what I thought the deal was. How can you, as my mother used to say, child, when you get up there, you got to step out on the word.
Yeah.
Step out on the word. What is that word she's talking about? You got to speak. Let the Lord speak through you.
Speak through you. Yeah.
Now, what does that mean in the avant-garde when you're on stage in a room full of white people? Now, let's speak. Let it speak through you.
Yeah, let it speak through you. And you can't, you're not worried about what people feel. If when you're coming from a place of honesty, the worry, you're not worried about what did I say the right thing? Do they understand what I'm saying? You have to just speak from a very real, honest place. And that's
you don't have to, you choose to. And that's the discipline, I think. Because I don't think I'm getting better with it. I think I do this thing, I drop bombs, and then I quake. And my husband has to like talk me down, you know? But that's just the way it rolls. And then I quake. That's what
y'all know there are more questions. And we're at 7:28. And I'm going to just drop this gem. And if you dare answer in 1 or 2 words, then if not, we'll just walk away and think about it.
Did you say dare?
Dare.
How dare you say dare?
I know. You know I want to hug you, right, Bill? You know I want to hug you. So Zane Booker says, is the process of art making abusive? Right?
Mm-hmm. Zane, have you read Proust? Is the process of being in love abusive? The Mêlée d'amour, right? A whole book, a masterpiece is written about the sickness of just loving. Now, is that a skirt? It can be abusive, but I think the ground rules must be very clear. First of all, if you're talking about my company, there are men and women and trans people there. There's basic respect. I can step over the line, but I've got to also know that I'm going to be corrected, and I've got to be able to say no. No, we do not want a sadomasochistic relationship. I don't want it in my bedroom, and I don't want it in the studio. I have to trust me. So that's my take on it. It can be abusive. It does not have to be.
And I think your take on it, I love that. I'm thinking for me, it's like when I know what I'm in the room to do, which is to get the artist from one level to the next. And it could be on so many levels. How to be a better human, how to be stronger, how to be more confident, how to push when you see they are at that moment of they could give up, but you gotta push them across that bridge. None of them have never come back and said, I want to thank you because I would have never gone past that. So I think when it's-
they have not said it to you? They've not?
No, they have. Like
I see.
And they come back and say, it's knowing that when your mission statement is to serve the artist in front of you from a myriad of different angles, then you know sometimes it's going to be very, very challenging, and you got to push through that as the leader. You have to push them. That's the part that makes us. We're not normal. We're in a very select group. We're in a group that chose to be in the fire and not outside the fire. Every choice we make, everybody's not going to love it.
No.
So I think that's one thing. It happens a lot where people go, "You're very challenging in the room," when they think, they think I'm not going to be for some reason, but it's like, no, we have a job and we chose this very extraordinary job that we have all these different, if it's 30 dancers, you have 30 different levels of mental work that you have to push through to get to each one. And that excites us, but it also is a major challenge.
And it's responsibility, right?
Yeah, it's a major responsibility. So
you got another one for us quickly?
No, but you all gave a long answer.
All right.
You know, it's time. We have to say goodbye.
This went by. This is wonderful, really wonderful.
Oh.
Yeah.
So something to me to lay at 3 o'clock in the morning, laying awake thinking, oh my God, did I really say that? Did he say that? Did she say that? Was it worthwhile? Were we full of bullshit? Or was it something good? That's what's going to happen to me for the next 12 hours.
I love it.
Rest of mind. It's something great. It's fantastic. You're fantastic.
Any last words, Darrell?
Just what an honor. Bill.
Indeed.
The world to me. Charmaine, thank you. And to your whole entire team and staff, just thank you. But I mean, how special is this to get to see?
Darrell, you know what I want to say is that I really envy your generation and having a community. We were hippie, like communes, and these were a lot of people who were refugees from the middle class, as I call them. But you talk about people of color growing up and being able to pick up the phone and say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
I hope you don't take that for granted.
No, we don't. No, we really don't. And we
didn't have that.
And I appreciate your honesty, because this is why this moment is very important. Right now, what you just said, like for us to come together like this and speak honestly, it's important for us to hear, because what you just expressed was the evolution of our people. Right? You just expressed this, and it's a huge thing. We really talk on the phone.
Wow. Good for you.
And y'all really said yes when I asked you to come do this.
Oh yeah.
You really said yes.
Yeah.
So hey, community.
Yeah.
Community.
Kimani, Makeda.
Yes. What's next?
What's next?
This was a wonderful chat. I want to remind everyone who's watching this to like and comment on this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on our social media. Let's grow this beautiful community. Next week starts our February lineup, where we'll be featuring amazing performer educators in the Black dance community. So next week is Sharon Miller, Princess Moon, and Sandra Burton. So make sure to save the date, and we'll see you next week.
Yes. And I forgot to say Halifu is here too. But good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
Stay
good night.
safe.
Thank you for doing it all. Thank you, guys.
Go get into some good trouble, everybody.
Good night. Good night.